Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell y'all something. You might not think much about it, but when you hug that man, when you wrap your arms around him, oh, that ain't just a hug. That right there is a full conversation he ain't never gonna say out loud. Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something straight from the heart. When a woman hugs a man, it ain't just about the arms wrapping around him. It's a message. A quiet, powerful message that speaks louder than 1,000 words. See, you might think it's just a casual act, something simple, something sweet, but to a man, oh, it means way more than you think. Men are not built like women when it comes to emotion. Y'all can talk about what you feel, process it, express it, explain it to your girlfriends over coffee, lay it all out. But most men, we ain't got that kind of emotional vocabulary. We weren't raised to talk through things. We were raised to grind, to protect, to push forward, no matter how we feel. So we bottle things up. We keep it all inside. And sometimes the only release we get, the only real connection we feel is when the woman we love wraps us up in her arms. When you hug a man, really hug him, it sends a message that says, you don't have to be strong right now. That one moment, it gives him permission to breathe, to exhale, to just be. And that right there is rare for a man. Most of the day, he's pretending like he got it all together. He's walking through the world with pressure on his chest, expectations in his mind, and weight on his shoulders. But your hug, that's when all that drops. That's when he gets to be human again. You see, when a man feels the warmth of your arms, that's not just skin-to-skin contact. That's spirit touching spirit. That's your soul telling his soul, I got you. And let me tell you something else. He might not say a word, but his heart hears it. His heart feels every second of that message. That's why he holds you a little longer sometimes. That's why you might feel him squeeze you just a little tighter out of nowhere. It's not just affection, it's need. That hug, that's healing for him. And don't let nobody tell you otherwise. Men need to be held too. Not because they're weak, but because they're tired of always having to be strong. Tired of fighting battles with a smile on their face. Tired of saying, I'm good when they're barely holding on. And when he gets that hug from you, it's like telling him, you don't have to carry it all by yourself. That's love. That's reassurance. That's comfort wrapped up in silence. You'd be surprised how many men go through a whole day, a whole week without real affection. Nobody asks how they doing. Nobody notices what they're going through. They just expect him to show up, pay the bills, protect the house, fix what's broken, and smile while doing it. But when you hug him, that's the one time he don't have to perform. He don't have to prove nothing. He just gets to feel what it's like to be loved for real. And I ain't just talking about those quick little side hugs. I mean the ones where your heart presses up against his chest, where you don't let go right away. The kind of hug where time slows down a little. That's the kind of message he remembers. That's the kind of embrace that stays with him when he walks out that door. He might act tough. He might say he don't need it, but deep down, every man craves that kind of connection because it's rare, because it's real. So next time you wrap your arms around your man, know this. You're not just giving a hug. You're giving him a moment of peace, a reason to keep going, a feeling he probably ain't felt all day. And even if he never says it out loud, just know your arms speak the kind of love he understands with his soul. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm about to say something that every woman needs to understand. You see, men don't express deeply, but that don't mean we don't feel deeply. Just because the words don't come flowing out of our mouths like y'all might expect, don't get it twisted. The emotion is still there. It's sitting under the surface, quiet, deep, heavy, and very, very real. Now listen, from the time we little boys, we're taught to keep things in. We get hurt, we're told to shake it off. We get scared, we're told to be brave. We feel like crying, somebody says, man up. So what happens? We learn real early how to hide. We learn how to wear that mask. We learn how to say I'm fine when really inside we're breaking in half. That's the world we were raised in. That's the wiring most men carry into adulthood. So when a man don't talk about his feelings, it ain't because he doesn't have them. It's because he was never given a safe space to show them. And let me tell you something, your ladies are powerful. You have the ability to make that space for him. You have the power to unlock what the world told him to lock away. Because behind that tough face, behind that deep voice and strong frame is a man who wants to be loved without judgment, who wants to feel safe enough to be vulnerable without looking weak. He might not say, baby, I'm struggling today, but he might sit a little quieter. He might hold your hand longer. He might lean into you during a hug like he don't want to let go. That's him feeling, that's him communicating the only way he knows how. You know, women often ask, why doesn't he open up to me? Why doesn't he tell me what's on his mind? I'll tell you why. Because he's afraid you might not understand. He's afraid you might see him differently. Because to the world, he has to be the protector, the problem solver, the unshakable one. And sometimes, even with the woman he loves, he doesn't know how to take off that armor. But deep down, that man is full of feelings he doesn't have the language for. He's got fears he don't speak about. He's got dreams he's never shared out loud. He's got memories that still sting and hopes he carries quietly. So when you're with your man and you feel like he's holding back, don't take that as a lack of love. That man feels everything. He feels your absence when you're distant. He feels your joy when you smile. He feels your disappointment when something's wrong. And when you hug him, when you really truly hold him, that's one of the few times he allows himself to feel it all. That hug becomes a channel, a moment where his heart gets to speak in silence. Now hear me on this. It might not always be loud. It might not come with a speech, but a man in love, he loves with action. He loves with presence. He loves with sacrifice. And when he hugs you back, that's not just arms around you. That's his heart saying, I'm here. I feel this. I feel you. He might not know how to put that into a poem, but you better believe he's carrying that feeling with him long after the moment's over. So don't ever think a man don't feel just because he don't say it the way you do. His silence don't mean emptiness. His stillness don't mean he doesn't care. It just means he's been trained to keep it all locked up. And sometimes the only key that can unlock that vault is your love, your touch, your hug. Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell y'all something important. When you hug that man, really wrap him up in your arms. You're doing more than just showing affection. You're creating a space for him that he don't get anywhere else. That hug, that's safety, that's peace. That's a place where for just a moment, he don't have to be on guard. And let me tell you why that matters so much to a man. See, the world expects a man to be strong all the time. From the second he steps out into the world, he's got to carry himself like nothing touches him. He's got to be the one that holds everything together. Bills, stress, expectations, family, work, it's all on him. And he don't complain because somewhere along the line, he was taught that his worth is tied to how much weight he can carry without cracking. So every day he walks around armored up, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, trying not to let anybody see the weight pressing down on him. But when you hug him, when you hold him close and he feels your arms around him, that's the moment he feels like he can take that armor off. That's the only time he doesn't have to play strong. That's the 1 second he doesn't have to be the warrior. And the crazy part is he probably won't even tell you that's how he feels. He might just close his eyes for a second. He might hold you tighter, not saying a word, but that's him feeling safe. That's his soul finally getting a break. Now, don't get it twisted. This ain't about physical safety. This ain't about whether or not you can throw hands or fight off some danger. This is about emotional safety. The kind that says you can just be here. You don't have to perform for me. You don't have to impress me. You don't have to fix everything. That's the type of safety a hug gives him when it comes from you. That's the kind of feeling that makes him want to come back to you every day. There's a certain peace in a woman's hug that you just can't buy, you can't fake, and you definitely can't find just anywhere. You see, when a man hugs a woman he loves and trusts, it's like his whole nervous system resets. His mind calms down. His heart slows its pace. That pressure he's been carrying all day starts to lift, even if it's just for a moment. Because finally, he's in a place where he don't have to be anything but himself. And let me say this, there are men out there who have never felt that kind of safety. Men who have never known what it's like to be embraced without expectation, who've been in relationships where they were needed for what they could do, but never cherished for who they are. So when he finds a woman who hugs him and gives him that peace, that calm, that shelter from the storm, you better believe he notices. And even if he ain't got the words for it, that man will hold on to you like his life depends on it. Because emotionally, sometimes it does. So when you hug your man, don't underestimate that moment. You're not just giving affection, you're giving him safety. You're telling him without saying a word, you're allowed to rest here. And even though he may not speak on it, you better believe it means everything to him. It ain't just arms around his back. It's the one place in this crazy world where he finally feels like he can let go and still be held up. Ladies and gentlemen, let me break something down for you that don't get said enough. When you hug your man, that moment right there, that's when he finally feels like more than just what he does for you, more than the bills he pays, more than the protection he gives, more than the grind, the job, the responsibilities. For once in that quiet embrace, he feels like he matters for who he is, not just what he provides. You see, men walk around with the weight of the world on their shoulders, and most of the time, they don't complain because they've been told over and over again that their value is tied to how much they produce, their success, their paycheck, their strength, their ability to fix everything and be unshakable. And they accept that role. They wear it with pride, even when it wears them down. But underneath all of that is a man who wants to feel like he's more than just a tool, more than just a solution. He wants to feel like a human being. Now, I ain't saying your man don't want to provide. Oh, he does. A real man wants to give, wants to take care of you, wants to make sure the roof is over your head, food's on the table, and that you feel safe with him by your side. But what he don't always say is that sometimes he wonders if he didn't have all that, would he still be enough? If the money stopped, if the position changed, if the pressure got too much, would you still want him? That's why your hug matters so much. Because when you wrap your arms around him, when you give him that pure, genuine affection, you're reminding him that you love the man, not just the mission. That you care about the person, not just the provider. You're saying, you don't have to earn this. You are this, just as you are. And let me tell you, that hits different. That hits him somewhere deep in a place that most people never reach. It's in that hug that he feels human again. Not a machine, not an ATM, not a bodyguard or a handyman, just a man with flaws, with dreams, with a heart that beats for you. And that feeling, it's rare. That's why he closes his eyes when you hug him, why he pulls you closer. Because in that moment, he ain't thinking about work or stress or what's due tomorrow. He's thinking this right here, this is why I do what I do. You got to understand, ladies, men aren't wired to ask for that kind of emotional reassurance. Society don't teach us that. It tells us to prove ourselves with what we can offer, not with who we are. So when a man finds a woman who sees him, not just what he can do for her, it shakes something loose inside. It gives him rest. It gives him reason. It gives him identity outside the hustle. And that's why your embrace is so powerful. He might not ever say it. He might not look you in the eyes and break it all down the way I'm doing right now. But trust me, when you hold your man like he matters, without him having to perform or impress, you feed his soul. You make him feel chosen, not just useful, but loved. And in a world where a man is constantly being measured by what he brings to the table, your hug tells him he is he is enough. Not because of what he does, but because of who he is to you. So keep hugging that man. Keep giving him that space to feel more than his job title or his income. Let him know through your arms, through your touch, that he's more than his role, that he's your man, not because of what he gives you, but because of what he means to you. Ladies and gentlemen, let me be real with y'all right now. Every man you know, no matter how confident he looks, no matter how tough he acts, no matter how loud he talks, he's wearing armor. I'm talking about emotional armor, mental armor, armor built up over years and years of being told he got to be strong, he got to be unshakable, he can't ever let him see him sweat. That's what the world teaches us. So we carry that toughness like it's part of our identity. We don't show pain. We don't show weakness. We push through everything, smile through disappointment, work through exhaustion, laugh through stress. But when a woman hugs a man, really hugs him, something powerful happens. That's the moment his armor drops. See, you might not realize it, but your embrace is more than just affection. It's permission. It's comfort. It's sanctuary. When you hold that man in your arms, it tells him without a single word, you can take the mask off now. That deep breath he takes when you hug him, that's him letting go of all the pressure he's been holding in. That's his body finally relaxing. That's the tight grip on life loosening just for a moment. Because for once, he don't have to be the warrior. He don't have to be the solution. He just gets to be himself. And listen, don't let the silence fool you. He ain't saying anything, but that doesn't mean he ain't feeling everything. He might not break down crying in your arms, though some men do. But even if he don't, there's a whole storm calming down inside of him the minute you pull him close. That embrace is like a reset button. It's like saying, you don't have to hold it all together right now, baby. I got you. Now, here's the part most people don't understand. A man's armor ain't just for protection. It's for survival. That armor has kept him going through rejection, through failure, through loss. That armor is what helped him walk into rooms where he didn't feel respected and act like he belonged. That armor is what kept him pushing through situations that nearly broke him. But it's heavy. And carrying it every day, it wears a man down. He might not say it, but he feels it. So when you wrap your arms around him and he feels that softness, that warmth, that unconditional love, you are in that moment giving him something the world never offers, a chance to be soft without being judged. That's rare, that's healing, that's sacred. You might think you're just showing love, but to him, you're creating a space where he can finally exhale, finally feel, finally be seen, not for the strength he shows, but for the soul he hides behind it. And sometimes the only time he even knows how tired he is, how weighed down he feels, is when you hug him and he realizes just how long he's been holding his breath. That's when the armor slips. That's when the wall cracks. And that ain't weakness, that's trust. That's what it looks like when a man trusts you enough to stop being the fighter and just be the man. So I'm telling you, don't underestimate that hug. Don't underestimate what your touch can do. you're not just showing love, you're